If you love movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am the Wiz, and I'm here today with...
Kim Shactman.
Kim, how are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
I am doing okay. I heard that you had an intervention today with your entire family?
Oh, God. We're recording a little late today because everyone decided to just show up at my house unannounced. Which is fine.
Yeah.
I love having my family here. I was like, oh, wow. Hello.
Kim, darling, we love you, but you got to stop this podcasting nonsense. Think of what your husband thinks. Think of think of how the community thinks, okay?
They just needed to pick up. They all needed to pick up tools.
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them at the same time.
Okay, hello. I'm like, whatever. Nice to see you.
Hey, I was on the way to Dunkin'. I need some Christmas lights. You got any?
Jesus Christ. Well, while my dad was here, he changed the light bulb on my upstairs stairs because I can't reach it, so that was productive.
Yeah, that is nice.
Thrilling Saturday. But I do want to say, not to interrupt, but before we get into it, I just want to acknowledge and send my thoughts and prayers out to the victims of the Lewiston, Maine shooting that happened recently.
Right.
So
you
I
are
just wanted to
you are near that area, correct?
I mean, not super close, about 2 hours.
Yeah.
But close enough,
Right.
So just a very sad situation, and I just wanted to send my condolences out to the families.
We're here to review the 1975 horror classic Jaws, starring Richard Dreyfuss, Roy Scheider, and Robert Shaw, directed by one Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
Kim, so I watched this film last night.
Okay.
And I instantly realized why you probably love it so much. And it's because everyone talks like you.
That's right. Hey, that is a part of the reason why I love it. So, before we get into the story and everything, it was filmed at Martha's Vineyard.
Yes.
Which is very close to me. I've been there numerous times. They are my people.
And a lot of...
And I had to say, too, though, this was your first time seeing this movie.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, this is a classic.
Mm-hmm.
I've literally seen this movie, I can't even count, at least 20 times, if not more.
Right. Yeah. Well, I have mentioned this in the past reviews that I did this week, and basically, I realized probably why it takes me so long to see movies everyone has seen, and the movies that no one's heard of, I see in an instant. And it's because back when I was in high school and getting really into films, you have to think about what's readily available. Like things like Jaws, Gone with the Wind, stuff like that is always available. You can find it. Like they are so easy. Either you can buy them cheaply or they're available to rent at Blockbuster at the time or whatever. They're easy to find. But the more interesting stuff, the more independent stuff, the artistic stuff, they can be gone in an instant. So
got it. They're almost like temporarily available.
Right. So how I would probably think of it is like I've always wanted to see Jaws. I've always wanted to see Back to the Future, Gone with the Wind, a bunch of these movies. But the main thing was always, well, they're there, so I can get to them any time.
They're not going anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. So let me get this obscure 1970 artistic film that barely is here.
That I would never watch.
Yeah. So let me get that movie done, and then I'll get to that another time. And then what ends up happening is there's always something else. Like
right.
And I think that's the problem that people have with streaming nowadays too. Like you have all these options available. You think, oh, that'll be there. Let me just get to this trash, and then everyone's addicted to reality TV.
I'm definitely not addicted to it.
Good.
I like it, but I don't love it, and I'm definitely not addicted to it.
I know some people who are addicted to it, but I think most people, it's just like it's there, and it's.
You can't take your eyes off it because it's such a train wreck.
Well, that you don't have to think too much. It's just like
right.
Okay,
you're like on your phone at the same time.
Pretty much, yeah.
So.
And like what I don't get about people who are into these, I can't believe we're getting to reality TV in a Jaws review, but what I don't get with people who like reality TV is, and it's the same thing with professional wrestling, even though I kind of like professional wrestling. You guys realize it's not reality, right? It's fake.
It's fake.
It is fake. It might have been something that happened at some point, but for the most part, it's scripted. Also, they're able to get the perfect camera angle for each scene that happens. Like, how?
Yeah, it's garbage is what it is. It
absolutely.
really is.
So speaking of garbage, let's get to the review of Jaws.
No! Oh, no!
I'm kidding. Let's get into the review of Jaws 1975.
You're gonna make me cry over Jaws.
Can I... Let's just get to the review.
Okay.
Kim, why don't you just get started? What were your thoughts on Jaws?
I've always loved this movie, and I always will. You have to keep in mind, this was shoot 1975, right?
Yeah.
And I think what they did with it was pretty amazing. Like, they didn't have the special effects that they have today.
No.
And, like, computer graphics and all that shit. I don't know. I just think it's, like, such a simple story in a way, but kind of, it's just done so well, and it's a 2-hour movie, but to me it doesn't feel like a 2-hour movie.
Okay.
Like, I get so, like, hyper focused on the characters, and I think I had told you this before, like, this is one of the only movies that, like, calms my anxiety, which you would think that's very odd based on, like, the music and the tone, but then you had mentioned before, it has to do with the ocean, and ocean is the sea, and that's soothing to some people. So.
And the setting itself is very idyllic. It's a beach town. It's a very small town. And I think maybe because it's in an area you're familiar with, there's a comfort to it.
I think that's just, like, relatable for me, and that's why I love it so much.
Yeah, it's not like you're saying Saw is the thing that takes you to be, like, calm. Like, that's even though, different.
Yeah, that movie's pretty, like, intense. I'm dying to hear what you think of this movie.
Okay, so let me preface this by saying,
I
do not like horror films.
Yes, this is correct.
Okay.
But, like, would you categorize this as a horror film?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. It definitely is. I would say it definitely is a horror film. But unlike most horror films where I would say the scares are the main thing, this film actually wants to deal more in tension than anything else, because there's always a calm, and then boom, something happens. Yeah. And then a calm, and boom, something happens. And then the second half of the film, I liked the film. I thought it was good. Do I get why people love this movie so much? Yeah, absolutely. I definitely get it. But I think this boils down to that this type of film just isn't something that I enjoy. And mainly because the things I like to enjoy are things with really well-done characters, a really involving plot, a good story. And like you said, this is a very basic story. I mean, shark kills people, people try to kill shark. That's what the movie is about, basically. But for what it is, I did find it enjoyable. Was I scared throughout the time? Did it feel intense? No, not really. Let me ask you this. Do you ever get to a point where you hear so much about a movie that you've never seen it, but you felt like you've seen it?
Yeah.
And I think that
stinks, because that totally... Is that how you feel about this movie?
I think. I mean, the thing is...
that really sucks, because, like, I saw this movie before, like when I was young, before everyone hyped it up. And I was a little bit scared of this movie when I first saw it, because I don't even remember how old I was, but I wasn't even a teenager yet. And so, like, it was a little bit scary for me, but, like, I didn't have all those people chattering in my ear about it. So, like, I feel like I really got to experience the film without any judgment or, like, bias.
Well, a good film is a good film, no matter if I've heard what happens in the movie or I know what happens in the movie or anything. So even if I know what happens, there are some films that, even though I know A to B to C to D, what happens, I still have that emotional effect. I don't think it is... I know what happens in this film, therefore it's been ruined. I never think that about a film. And honestly, if I do think that about a film, to me that's like, oh, then that's the mark of a film that's not that good. Because if I need that twist, or if I need that tension, and I need to not know everything that happens for me to enjoy it, that's a movie that relies too heavily on those things to make a good movie. And I don't think that's the case with Jaws. I think that the strength of this movie is the characters, especially the three main characters that are in the second half of the film. Like, I don't have an issue really with a lot of the film, but I definitely feel like, I guess to a certain extent it's been overhyped, but on the other hand, I have read and I read about what happened behind the scenes of the film.
Yeah.
I've read about everything that's happened with the film. I've read about Steven Spielberg and all this and everything that. And I know this story before I watched the films. Like, I knew what was going to happen, but when it came to like the tension and everything, is like it still felt a little safe-ish. People tell me how shocking this film is, and I'm like, I don't see how this is shocking.
No, I don't think the film is shocking. Like, maybe when I was a kid I did, because I was a kid, but I don't think I ever thought it was shocking. Like I said, I always thought it was soothing, but I'm a weirdo.
I was actually kind of surprised how much blood and dismemberment is in this movie.
Well, and I read up on this, and it's only rated PG.
Well, okay, so I need to point this out. Yes, it's rated PG, but by that point, there was only 3 ratings. There were 4, really. There was G, PG, R, and X. Those are the 4
there
ratings.
There was no PG-13
No, PG-13 didn't come out until I think around the early 80s. So that's why it was PG, which is a little shocking now that there's so much cursing in it. But, well, not a lot of cursing. But,
no, there isn't much. There's like a few curse words in it, but nothing crazy. I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were from like how they shot the film. Like, I thought like the angles and the way like he captured some of the moments in the film. I liked the way the film was shot, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, I agree, but I think I'm going to be a little different than most. I like the film the way it's shot when there is no action, when it is the character stuff.
Yes, that's
town.
Actually kind of what I meant.
Right.
Sorry, yeah.
Because everyone talks about when it comes to direction of when you hear the music, the dun-dun-dun-dun, and how the camera sways into thinking that you're in the eyes of the shark. It's fine. I'm not entirely enamored.
Yeah, it's fine, but it didn't wow me either. Like, it was just okay, but
right.
Like when they're not shooting and hyper focused on the actual shark itself, like I really liked the way it was shot, like the zooming in on the characters' faces and I don't know, just shots from watching the boats leave and I don't know, certain things I really, really liked.
Right.
The way it was shot.
The way they did the calming parts, it actually really helped when the intensity ramps up.
Yes.
I think the best scene that points this out is the scene where everyone's on the beach and the one kid gets killed and the blood and viscera pops up from the water. We're like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
very well done.
Yeah. And then, you mentioned the zoom into Roy Scheider, and it was like, oh, wow, okay, that was pretty good. I don't think the direction gets better than that at that point. I think if you know the story of how Jaws is created, the fact that it came out like this should astonish you. I think Steven Spielberg has gone on to basically say how much of a disaster the shoot was.
Yep.
And
yeah, that's what I heard. And it took 3 or 4 times longer to complete the film. It was supposed to be 60 or 93 days and ended up being 165 days or something weird like that. I don't know.
And a bunch of reshoots. And then on top of that, actors didn't get along very well. Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw. Although Richard Dreyfuss has gone on to say this is not true, but apparently they did not get along very well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did not get along very well, which a lot of people say really adds to the tension between Quint and Hooper in the second half of the film, which, okay.
I think it worked to its advantage then, because you can kind of see it,
Sure. And I don't think this is some people say this is a masterclass in filmmaking. This might be my bias of not liking horror films, but I don't see it. But then again, people also say that about The Shining, and I don't like The Shining very much either.
I think it's just because you don't like horror films. I really do.
You might be right on that. You might be right.
Because my first pick isn't a horror film, but I do enjoy them enough. But I think a lot and I think of The Shining, and The Shining used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid. My husband and I talked about it because my husband really likes The Shining.
Okay.
And my husband's like, if you took the music out of The Shining, it would be not even scary. The music, even in Jaws too, and I think the music in Jaws helps. I don't think as much it has an effect as it does in The Shining. But I just notice some horror films, when they have better music, it definitely helps the mood of feeling scary.
Right.
You know?
Right, but that's what music is supposed to do for any type of film. It's really not supposed to be background music. It's supposed to augment and improve what is on screen to help the audience feel what it's supposed to feel.
Right.
My issue with that with Jaws, though, maybe not the music, but the sound design, is that there are certain scenes where there are random screams, and I don't understand why that is. And the one scene that in particular that I'm talking about is when Hooper and Brody are at night in the ocean, and they're looking for, I guess, a certain boat. They find it, and the shark has obviously been there.
No, they're looking for the shark, but then they find the boat.
They find the boat. Right, you're right. They find the boat.
Oh, I know what you're talking about when he goes down. Okay.
Yeah. Why
I don't
is
want
there?
to ruin it. I know what you're talking about, though.
Why is there a scream in that scene?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I think they were just trying to do it for like the effect, maybe, because like if you just pop up somebody's head without any noise, like it's not as scary.
Really?
But
you don't think so?
No. Like when I saw that, like when I was young, it scared me because of the noise, not because of the face.
Yeah,
like because then I looked at the face and I was like, oh, okay, it's like a dead person, whatever.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Some
Again,
guy
it's like
just died. What the fuck ever?
Like horror doesn't bother me.
Horror doesn't bother me. I mean, very disturbing and gory stuff involving like hyper violence and sexual assault. That does bother me. Don't get me wrong. But like horror jump scares, slashing guy about to gut you, like it's like, all right, whatever. I don't care. It's like, whatever.
But what other parts of the film were there like random screaming? Was that the only part? I don't think there is any other part.
That was like that really was the only one I could think of. But that really stood out. I was like, why is that there? Like, I think that's an effective scene the way it is. Or you could have just had the score pick up at a certain note and do that. And so you're like, why?
Yeah, I think like they could have just like enhanced the actual music instead of like a scream effect.
Oh, we've already gotten into parts of the direction. We've already said the plots.
I love the characters. I just do.
I
love the way they're written. Like, my husband and I quote this movie all the time.
I like Quentin Hooper. I definitely like Quint in this movie. I like Hooper
It's
bit.
Quinn, not Quint.
It's Quint.
Is it?
It's Quint, yes.
I thought it was Quinn.
Nope, Quint.
Oh.
Owned. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Go on to
Makes
IMDb.
me not feel like a diehard fan. Oh God, you just made me feel like Quint. Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
I think that's a common thing though. You hear Quin, you think Quinn, it's actually Quint. So yeah.
You know what it is when they're yelling his name in the movie? It sounds like Quinn, not Quint.
Sure. No, I get you.
But anyways.
I really like Quint in this movie. I like Robert Shaw, and I like how he is written in this movie. I do like Hooper a bit in certain scenes of the film. What I like about these two characters is that they are an element of chaos with a character that is Brody, who is a very uptight,
I love it. I love his character. I love them all. I think it's perfect, the way that they wrote them in together.
I just don't like Brody very much.
Why?
I think he's too bland. I think that might be the point.
But that is the point.
But sure. I mean, that could very well be the point, that he is just that type of person. He's not somebody who wants to rock the boat too much. Whoops, I'm sorry. That wasn't.
Oh my God.
That wasn't meant. Sorry. I didn't do that on purpose. I'm so sorry.
It's funny though.
I'm so sorry.
It's just funny because I really do know that you didn't do that on purpose.
I feel dirty now.
Let me go take a shower.
Ew.
For a film, I love them all. I think they're so good. And I just love I love the little tiny rivalry between Hooper and Quint.
And that's what kept me going throughout the second half, because again, that Brody really took a back seat in the film, and it was just those two bickering. And
it's great.
Yeah, I did like that aspect of it. I just think that when it comes to the writing specifically, I mean, yes, the plot is very basic. The characters are good. But the main thing that I guess of the film that was supposed to garner your attention are the shark attacks and stuff like that, I just didn't feel the effect of them very much. It's a film where I think where most people are more affected by those scenes, and I understand why, and they should be. I'm not, but I'm going to enjoy the film based on the character solely and not of what happens surrounding it.
That's why I enjoy the film, to be honest with you.
But you also like the tension of the film, too, correct?
Yeah, it's not bad. But I mean, like, I am very hyper-focused on the characters. I think obviously, like, having the shark in it is the plot and so forth, but it's the characters that really make the movie. Yeah. Not so much the shark itself. I don't know. That's my thought.
I don't think that was the main purpose of the film, though. I think the film wanted it to be...
No, it's supposed to be like shock and awe against the shark.
It's supposed to be tension-based with some character development. And I think the tension is where it kind of falls dead for me. I don't feel that tension at all throughout the film. All I feel is like, okay, this is where the shark pops up, wee, and then, good character work. And then, here's the shark, wee, and then, okay.
I mean, I feel it a little bit, but not drastic. Yeah. Probably not drastic enough.
I think my issue, and I'll be more than willing to admit it, is I've been told for decades now how this is one of the scariest movies, and that it's intense, and and I watch this and going, I haven't shit my pants once.
It's definitely like, I would not say that it's one of the scariest movies by far. Right. I just feel like it's just well done. Like the shooting and the character, like the writing for the characters and the characters themselves and like the acting, like so I guess we can get into acting, but I just feel like it's really overall well done for the plot that it is, right? Like it must be really hard, acting and writing for a plot about a shark that kills people, because it is such a bland and basic plot. It's like, how do you turn that into something a little bit more, I want to say enjoyable to watch, but just like keeps people's attention.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. I want to point out one last thing, though, before we get to acting. I do appreciate the fact that they're able to make this film have some tension without actually showing the shark. And
and I think that's like that's actually a really good point. Yeah. I think that's why I'm drawn to it, because I'm like, with what they have and what they were given, they did a pretty damn good job.
But what's interesting about that, and this is one of these happy little accidents that happens in filmmaking, is the shark was supposed to be more prominent in the film. But because of all the problems that they had with the mechanical shark, they had to write around it.
And that's why it took longer to shoot, too.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. All right, so let's get into acting. I think I like Robert Shaw the best in this film.
Yeah, he's hilarious. And he's like based off of a real fisherman, Martha's Vineyard fisherman. I read up on that too.
Like all the fishermen?
No, like a certain guy, I guess, that works like fishes off of Martha's Vineyard. Well, he takes like cues from like, you know what I'm saying? Like not like to a T, just that like, that's where they got their inspiration from.
Right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just think Robert Shaw had the most to work with. I don't think he chewed scenery so much as he was just he just had fun playing the character.
It's a fun character to play. Like you're like that rugged fisherman type that's trying to like just show his masculinity throughout the whole film.
Who doesn't give a shit about what other people think and feel and everything, and just is like,
he's a true New Englander.
Yeah.
That's like us to a T. I love it.
Yeah, I know. I've only been friends with you for so long. I know how it is. I can't tell you how many times I've been on the phone afterwards.
We don't give a shit.
I know. Yeah. How many times have you made me...
We'll go chase a big fucking shark. We don't give a shit.
How many times have you made me cry in my life? Plenty. God.
Too many. No.
Absolutely. Damn New Englander. You're such a fucking pussy.
I know.
Shut up.
Suck it up, motherfucker.
You fucking Jersey boy. Shut your fuck up.
I think he definitely steals the show in the second half. I don't know. I like Brody. I like his acting. I like how it went.
Oh, I like Roy Scheider. I like Roy Scheider, but I just think the character in itself is too bland. You could still have.
I thought that was the purpose of him, and I think he played it well.
But you could still have somebody be a straight man and have some personality, and I don't think Brody had any personality at all. I think it was just, I am the chief of police, and I gotta maintain order. I'm like, yeah, okay, dude.
I thought he had emotion, like with his kids and stuff, and like.
Yeah.
I thought he had a personality. I don't know. I
Right.
liked him.
And then Richard Dreyfuss as Hooper. I like Richard.
I think he did a good job with that character too. Like he's playing the smart guy, the brainiac.
I liked him more in the first half than the second, though.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because he's playing off of Brody, and Brody is supposed to be bland, so he stands out a little bit more in the first half of the film.
All right. No, I agree with that.
I think overall, I think they did a good job with it. I think the characters are what actually really holds the movie together, those three.
Let's get into spoilers for Jaws, a 1975 horror film directed by Steven Spielberg. If you have not seen it, you should come back when you are ready. Obviously, you probably have seen it by this point. We're going to get to spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to be forthright and honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like there's much to talk about when it comes to spoilers.
Well, tell me about some of your favorite scenes. Is there anything that you really enjoyed that you can talk about and spoil?
I mentioned the second victim, which is the kid who gets chopped up in the middle of the ocean, and you see the blood spurting out.
The yellow raft, yep.
Yeah.
Poor mother.
I was like, wow, I didn't know there was going to be that much blood. Holy crap.
Yeah. The shark just, bit his body, in half. Everywhere.
Well, my thought was going to be that they were going to do something along the lines of, you'll see blood coming from the ocean, in a more it's washing into the ocean.
Washing up onto the shore.
That's what I thought. I wasn't expecting a fountain to come up, go,
yeah.
Holy shit.
That's good effects. I was like, yeah.
I was surprised, and I was also surprised how much dismemberment there is in this film.
Well, yeah, when he comes in, Hooper comes in from the mainland, and he has to examine the body, and he's like, "I need a cup of water." He's like, "Can you give me a cup of water, please?" And he's just can't breathe, and then, and then he's holding up the arm and shit, and then when they cut open the shark's stomach, that's kind of nasty. Not that they take anything out of it, but
the autopsy scene that you're mentioning with Hooper is particularly good because it does a great job of actually showing the looks on the faces of the three people that are in the room without showing anything, but also being as descriptive as possible as to what Hooper is looking at and how
he played really well in that scene.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I think I like him more in the first half when they're trying to figure out if the first shark that they found is actually the shark.
I just love his character when he's mocking the mayor and he's pissed off at the mayor and he's he's gonna be dinner. I don't know, he just says these funny things. And again, Brody's the more serious, oh my God, I came here from New York City and now I have a shark attack on my hands and I'm fucking petrified of the water. What do I do with this type of deal?
I am very surprised that this film didn't go more into the fact that the chief of police hates water. They mention it, they joke about it, but there's nothing in the film that makes you really believe that he hates water. Because he's in water, around water, all the fucking time.
Well, no, when they're sitting at the table with Hooper, the wife's talking and she's like, oh, childhood trauma or something, and he's like, yeah, it's called drowning or something like that. He says something like that.
Right.
So they touch upon it, but
right.
I mean,
but that's something that you could have gotten more drama out of, but they don't do it. In fact, when the second half, it's kind of he forgets about it.
Well, you know what he does? He kind of does, but at the same time, wouldn't you if you were hyper focused on not getting eaten by a shark?
Not if I'm deathly afraid of water.
Well, no, but I'd just be I'm just trying to stay alive at this point. I'm in shock. At the end of the movie when he's on the thing and about to shoot the guy, he's just in survival mode at that point. He's not thinking about his ultimate fear, which is the water. He's just fuck, I need to get back.
But in most movies that deal with fear, in any way, shape, or form, where someone is debilitatingly afraid of something, the way that they structure the plot is that you find out what he's afraid of, he or she is afraid of. Second half, they come to a point where they're so deathly afraid, but they have to find a way to surpass it. And then in the third half, something happens where something clicks, and either they're not afraid of it or they gain enough courage to surpass it. Maybe not be too afraid of it. And it seems like nothing is there on that end except that you hear off a certain scene where, oh yeah, by the way, did you know that my husband's afraid of water? Oh, that's pretty ironic. Okay, cool. Anything else?
Yeah, I guess you're looking for a little bit more depth there on why. You know when they should have brought that in? is when they're all sitting at the table in the boat drunk and they're talking about like their scars. Like, that's when they should have brought that in.
A great scene, by the way.
Oh, one of my favorites. Like, the songs they sing and stuff. I used to skip down the halls in high school singing that song. Really weird, I know. Like, because I love the movie so much. You know, they're showing off their scars and they talk, you know, about how he was on the USS Indianapolis. Yep. And like, it gets really like dark and dim at that point. And like, they should have brought Brody in and just being like, wow, like, I don't know if I could ever do that because, you know, this happened to me when I was a child and I almost drowned or whatever, you know. Yeah. Like, I think that would have been the perfect time to bring that in. I
think is why I don't like Brody as a character so much, because there's really nothing there.
You just don't know much about him.
Even the littlest thing that they put in there, they don't really do much about. Now, that could also be because the scenes that involve those fears had to be taken out because of the problems that the film had in development. But still, it does hurt the character in my eyes, to be absolutely honest. I do find it funny. I don't know. You know who Kevin Smith is?
Yes.
Okay, so have you ever seen Chasing Amy?
Well, I don't think I've seen that.
Okay, so one of my favorite scenes in the film that I loved in Chasing Amy was a scene where the lesbian main character and the best friend of the male main character are talking about scars they had from when they were having sex. And when I watched this scene, the scene that we're talking about...
That's what you think of?
It's verbatim, though.
Oh, really?
The whole tenor, the whole thing about the scene in Chasing Amy is pretty much a callback to this scene in Jaws.
That's so weird.
Because all they're doing is comparing, like, oh, yeah, you see this missing tooth? I got this when I was eating out this person. Oh, yeah, you see this scar on my right leg? I got this from... It's the same damn scene. And I thought when I saw this in Chasing Amy, I was like, wow, that's pretty clever. Now I'm watching this going, oh, no. He took it. So I'm like,
Jaws
shit.
Was first.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, it's a callback to Jaws.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You hack, Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, you hack.
I love that scene when they're all, because they, you know, Hooper and Quinch, they start to like actually respect each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
No, it's a good scene. It's a funny scene, too. It's a tension breaker, if there is tension to be there.
There's tension between the characters.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not so much the shark.
Again, that's my biggest disappointment. I think the thing is with me, I know the theme song is iconic. I know that the is synonymous now.
It's like a branded song.
I think it kills the tension, though, because now you're expecting it. And then when you expect it, then you're like, oh, here it comes. And then boom.
Right.
If we got to a point where that wasn't there, you're watching Brody on the beach, and all of a sudden, as you're watching him, he notices the blood popping up from the leg. That would have been like, oh my God, holy shit. And then maybe you would have that kind of sequence where you da-da-da-da-da when someone notices or whatever. But I think when that music pops up, it kind of kills the tension for me.
I guess it depends on who's watching it. Mm-hmm. Because I was pretty scared of it, but I was like a little kid, so that makes sense.
No, were you scared? Were you scared because of the eventual gore and blood that would come?
No, I was scared of like, oh my God, he's coming, like he's gonna get somebody, like, oh my God, you know?
Yeah. Whereas I'm like the opposite, going, yeah, of course he's coming. I can hear the music.
Yeah, again, but I was like a kid, like,
you're
a kid, you're just like, oh, what's gonna happen, you know? Like, and when you're an adult, you're just like, okay, like music, like whatever. Like,
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm also like, I love the ocean. Like, I love swimming. Oh. I love lakes. I love oceans. I love get me in the water at all times. And I know what can live in the ocean. So, yeah, sometimes the ocean can be pretty scary.
Another way that we were opposites. I hate the ocean. I hate the beach.
I love it.
And this is bad because I'm in a town that's near a bunch of beaches. All the people that I went to high school with, all the people that I was friends with, loved the beach. And I'm like, I got all the sand. Why do I have to get so wet? It got so freaking hot. God damn it.
Like, I would, like in the movie, how they are like, we can't close the beaches. Like, this is literally, like, our income and da-da-da-da. And, like, the mayor's, like, asking someone to go in the water. Like, I would already be in the water. Like, I would just be like, meh, shark's gonna get me. He's gonna get me. I need to be in this water. Like, I need to cool off. Sorry.
Yeah.
Pretty funny when they catch the little kids with the fin, too. Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Little shits.
Although, honestly, I was like, this is not the shark. Because
you see a bunch of blood. Like, he would have already attacked. I feel bad, too, when the kid on the boat comes out in shock. That was sad. I was like, oh, my God. But I don't know. I like this movie a lot.
Okay, I guess one last scene. I'm kind of surprised Quint died.
Yeah.
And how they showed how he died, the blood coming out of his mouth and everything. I was like, whoa, okay.
I think they did a good job with that. I was
yes.
like, ooh, yeah.
For that time, absolutely. I think they did a good
job. Taking him away. Bye-bye. You're dead. For some reason, I always forget that Hooper doesn't die because he goes and he hides. And I always forget. Like, I always think that Brody kicks back with the barrels by himself, and then I forget that Hooper is still alive. But I don't think he's not in the second one. I don't think he is.
Hooper?
Yeah.
No, it's Brody, I think. Brody.
Yeah, just Brody, and then like his children or whatever. But which I'm surprised he didn't just bring them into the second one. But whatever, I guess. But like, I don't know. It's kind of like, oh, captain goes down with a ship type of deal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I guess. I think for the person that knows more about the sea than anybody, it was kind of weird that he's the one that died.
But at the same time, like, he's super arrogant. So, like...
So super.
And yeah, but, like, at the same time, he was arrogant, but he was also, like, who knows if he ever came across, like, a shark this big before, but he was acting like he did. And, like, think about it, right? Like, he's the one that pushed the boat to the point of not fucking functioning anymore.
Yes, yeah.
He was the one that just kept on them about like, oh, we need to shoot it and we need to do this. Like, he was driving the entire operation, even though Brody in the town were paying for it. He drove them to the point of the boat basically collapsing once the shark got on it because it was in such like, it was so damaged, and he had the shark fucking following them pretty much that he wanted to drag them back to shore. And it's like, I mean, not any reason why he should die, but at the same time, like, you could tell, like, Brody was like, well, I'm not going to make this fucking hardcore effort to save your ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he just tries to hold his hand, he slips out, he's like, well, like, bye. Like, he's just holding the sides of the boat so he doesn't go with him. I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm like, oh. Like, he's making, like, literally, like, zero effort to help him.
Yeah, that's true. Final thoughts from me on Jaws. I understand why people love this film. I understand why a lot of people seem to enjoy this film. They like certain aspects of the film. I do like the characters, not necessarily in love with the film. I think it's solid. I think it's a good film. And I definitely see pieces of what makes Steven Spielberg the director that he is now when watching this film. I am a little puzzled as to why it's so beloved nowadays, but then again, and I'm free to admit it, I am not a horror fan, and that might color my reason as to why I'm not in love with it like most people are. I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 stars. I think it's a good movie. It's entertaining, kept my interest. I think the characters are entertaining. I especially like Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw in this movie. Again, I think my coloring of how I look at horror is what's keeping me from, I guess, falling in love with it like many other people do. So 3 out of 5 for me for Jaws.
I'm surprised. I don't know. I thought you would at least be like a 4 for this movie.
Oh, no.
Because of like Spielberg and the way it was shot and stuff.
Oh, there's Spielberg movies I don't like.
Well, I don't know. I guess I just thought you would be like more into it.
Okay, so I'll put it this way. I think how he did it is a 5 out of 5 from how much it messed up and how many problems he had. For what the film is now, with the problems that he had, most directors, this would have been a disaster. But the fact that this film was watchable and enjoyable and entertaining shows how much of a great director that he is, and he was at the time as well. So in that case, then yeah, he deserves all the praise he gets. But as I'm watching the film right now, it's a 3 out of 5.
Oh, that's fair. I'll take your review.
You will allow it?
I'll allow it.
Thanks, Judge Joe Brown.
All right, so I'm going to give this film a 5 out of 5.
Oh, wow, surprise.
Oh, shut up.
New Englander likes New Englander movie.
Yes, it's a New Englander movie. It's my people. I think the three characters mesh perfectly together, and they're hilarious. And like I said, my husband and I, we quote this movie all the time because we get so much entertainment from it. I love the ocean. I love the sea. So to watch something like this actually soothes me to my core. Like if I'm having a very stressful day, or I have a lot of anxiety going on, or I'm about to do something in my life that causes a lot of stress, like I put this movie on. It's very strange, but it just calms me. So that's another very big part of why I love the film and why it's relatable to me, because it helps my mental health in a weird way. And then, yeah, like I said, the characters, I love the way it was shot. One of my favorite scenes from when it was shot, I actually forgot to mention this, is when they're going out to kill the shark and they shoot through like the shark's mouth, like out the little window, and then you can see the boat in the background. That's actually one of my favorite shots of the movie. I don't know why. I really like it. I thought it was kind of cool. I like the way the characters play off of each other, and it truly is a classic, right? Like I know you say 3 out of 5 now, but like I think the reason why people say 5 out of 5 now is because a lot of us had seen this when it was in its heyday.
Sure.
You know, so maybe that's why. I don't know, but
yeah, nostalgia really
plays a part in people's ratings.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. Yeah. It's all subjective in the end.
Yeah, for sure. So 5 out of 5 for me. Good job, Spielberg, with that crazy ass mechanical shark that just wouldn't work.
Now, what people don't realize about Kim is Kim's favorite movies are Jaws, Good Will Hunting, The Town, and Fever Pitch. And if you guys can guess,
fuck you.
If you can guess the connection to all 4 of those,
Good Will Hunting is not one of my favorite movies. It's good, but it's not one of my favorites.
Oh, blasphemy! Okay.
Fever Pitch, I thought was really cute.
I liked Fever Pitch.
It's a cute movie. Yeah, like absolutely. I liked the story was funny and cute and entertaining, and Jimmy
it's one
Fallon.
of the few things I can actually tolerate Jimmy Fallon in.
What's the other one? The Town.
The Town.
I don't even know if I've seen that movie.
You're a New Englander and you haven't seen The Town?
No. I'm surprised you didn't bring up The Departed.
Ah, that's true. See,
that movie pisses me off
why?
Because of the way they talk. Like they like accentuate the Boston accents so hardcore that I'm just like, we really don't sound like that. Like that's ridiculous.
No, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, okay, that's over the top too much. Like, we don't sound like that.
Well, The Departed is kind of an over-the-top movie. It's based off of a series of movies from South Korea that actually, or is it South Korea or Singapore? That both yeah, it's Infernal Affairs. Me and Zero reviewed it last year. It's actually pretty good. And when you watch Infernal Affairs, it's very surprising how much they took from Infernal Affairs from The Departed. But The Departed is over the top in many ways. That's kind of why I like it so much. Like
Did you like that film? I'll have to go back and listen to the review.
I did. Yeah. I did like it. I actually liked it for the reasons some people don't like it. It's because of Jack Nicholson. People, for some reason, don't like Jack Nicholson in the movie. I thought he was great in the movie.
I liked him in the movie.
Well, his performance is kind of like, it is basically Scorsese saying, you know what, Jack, go fucking nuts. It's just like, it's fucking nuts. Like, and he does it, and it's perfect. It's so good.
My husband likes the film. I don't love it. I'll watch it, but I don't. It kind of bores me a little bit. I don't know why.
It's a long film.
It is. It's a long film, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So 3 out of 5 for me for Jaws, 5 out of 5 for Kim on Jaws. Yes. It's a good movie. I'm not saying it's bad.
I think people should go. I think the majority of the world has seen it, except for you, Wiz, because you're Wiz and you just don't watch popular films. I don't know.
If it's not an Ingmar Bergman film, I have no interest. Thank you.
Who the fuck is that? No.
Oh, don't say that. You're gonna get killed by the filming community if you say you don't know who Ingmar Bergman is. Oh God.
I'm still learning. If you really truly have not seen Jaws, I still think you should see it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Okay. It's still entertaining enough. Like, if you don't have the nostalgia behind it, that's okay. Still see it. You'll get a kick out of the characters.
Yeah. Even if you have seen it, it's been a long time. Maybe check it out again. Just see if you remember
if it feels the same.
Yes.
Because it always feels the same for me. So, yeah.
All right, Kim. So next week we're gonna do our Halloween week, which is we're watching
Halloween. What do you call it? Halloween for pussies or something?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we're doing Halloween movies. Was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, like, what's the slasher film? What's the horror? Was it? Oh, we're gonna do Halloween for pussies. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, it's like movies that are Halloween theme or fit in the Halloween theme, but really aren't that scary.
Yeah.
And that's funny because I was telling my nieces, I'm doing Halloween movies next week. Oh, what are you watching? The Conjuring, The Hills Have Eyes? And no, I'm watching Beetlejuice and I'm watching Hocus Pocus. She's like, you pussy.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah. She's like,
but my niece loves horror films. Like
That's awesome.
Ugh, God, poor kid.
Fun.
I'm trying to get both of them to be like, oh, you know what? My nephew, he just has no interest in films whatsoever. Funny story before we get into what we're watching next week. I said, okay, so I want you to start watching some good movies. So I'm going to give you a one that is easy, but a lot of fun. Here's Terminator 2. I gave it to him for
I love that movie.
I know. I gave him for a month. Never watched it. Didn't care.
So weird.
I know. It's like, you haven't watched Terminator 2? It's like, nah. Why not? I don't want to. Give me the damn disc back.
You're like, you're boring.
Whatever.
You're like calling it like your little nephew. You're like, it's freaking boring.
He's more into video games.
Well, again, they have like so much for kids now that the kids are just like,
oh, he ain't a kid anymore.
On to the next thing. You know?
Yeah, that is true. Like a lot of social media, a lot of video games, stuff like that.
It's hard to keep their attention.
True. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so Halloween for pussies next week.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Let's do it.
And this is all for my benefit, not for Kim's.
Yes.
I just want to point that out because Kim can handle some stuff.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't want to see that shit.
I'll watch it all.
Yeah. Anyway, so Kim is going to watch a Serbian... No. No. You're not watching a Serbian film. Next week, me and Kim are watching something that I think is a favorite of yours. Is that true?
From like a film perspective, I wouldn't say it. I'm like, it's my favorite. It's another nostalgic movie to watch that is, you just grow up with it. And, and it's also another New England film.
Oh, yeah, set in Salem, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we are obviously watching The Crucible. No, kidding.
I've seen that.
Which one?
I think it was the first one. I don't know. It was The Crucible. I watched it a long-ass time ago.
The one with Daniel Day-Lewis?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I don't really remember it, but anyways.
Okay, so what are we watching?
We're watching Hocus Pocus.
Yes, we're watching the 1993 Halloween film Hocus Pocus, starring Sarah Jessica Parker, Bette Midler, and Kathy Najimy.
And you haven't seen this one either, have you?
No, I have not seen it.
Oh my gosh.
Again,
weirdo.
Directed by Kenny Ortega. Look, I don't... Oh,
like everyone has seen Hocus Pocus.
I don't like Halloween.
At least up here they have.
I don't like Halloween.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I honestly, I was mentioning this before we got started on this. I went from being indifferent to it, like, whatever, it's harmless, to now that I'm despising it because
people are annoying.
Oh, yes. Like, I stopped trick-or-treating at age 9. After, 9, I was like,
my God.
I hated it. I was like... For 3 years in a row, I was the same costume. I was an executioner, basically. And I was like, all right. After
so boring.
I didn't care. I was like, what is this shit?
I think I was 12 when I stopped trick-or-treating.
Oh, there are high schoolers that still do trick-or-treating.
Yeah, that's a bit much for me.
But anyway, so, I, after age 9, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. And my mom and dad are like, well, you're not going to get candy. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll get candy elsewhere.
I'm going to go watch a movie.
I didn't get into movies until I was 12 or 13. So.
Okay. Well, that's fair.
But yeah. I went from being it's okay to well, at least the women are dressing kind of,
slutty.
Yeah. So there's a benefit to that.
When you're,
Yeah. To now, I'm in my 40s, and in the past 10 years, I've seen people my age going, it's June. It's 4 months until Halloween. I'm like, oh my fucking God, stop.
Those people need to just go away. Like, go live on your own planet.
Good Lord.
Especially because I'm obsessed with summer. So when you start talking about fall and summer, I'm just like, don't fucking talk to me.
Yeah.
Like,
I love Christmas. All right. And
you do?
I love Christmas.
Well, you did tell me that, but I always forget.
I love Christmas. And I'm a Scrooge. I'm such a hateful, terrible person. I can't fucking stand people. God.
Christmas is pretty magical, though, isn't it?
Oh, I love Christmas.
Yeah.
I love it's the one time of year where I'm like, yeah, it's time to be nice to somebody. Oh, it's December 26th? Fuck you. And then
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, New Year, new me.
oh, I'm never like that. Like everyone's like, what's your New Year's resolution? It's like, I don't have one.
Nothing. Trying to complete the one I set like 10 years ago. Again, I don't know. I'm trying to think what my favorite holiday is. I do enjoy Thanksgiving, and I actually do enjoy New Year's Eve only because we don't, like, we do the traditional, get Chinese food, but we have other couples over and we play board games, which is really fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Every single year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's become a running tradition, and, we laugh a lot, have a few drinks. It's a good time.
Yeah, I will say any holidays involving alcohol, I kind of just shy away from. That would be like New Year's, St. Patrick's Day, anything
I don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, anything where there is like the custom is drink alcohol is like I'm done. I want nothing to do with that. But Christmas, oh my God, November is like once Halloween's over, it's Christmas time, and then I listen to All I Want for Christmas Is You on repeat.
Oh my God! But I don't like I don't like when people bring out Christmas too early. Don't forget about Thanksgiving. I like Thanksgiving.
I agree. Like right now, if you go to some stores, the Christmas decorations are up. Like, why?
Yeah, I'm just like, this is so stupid.
Why are you doing this? Oh God.
Because of the money. They want the money.
Oh, true.
Money.
True.
But anyways, we digress. I hope you all enjoyed our conversation about our favorite holidays.
Yeah.
Hey, if you have a favorite holiday, throw it in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever holidays that you guys love. Well, actually,
or a favorite holiday movie.
Unfortunately, this is the part that's not going to be on YouTube. So, whoops.
I don't know. Email it in. Do something.
Yeah, definitely. Or,
talk to us.
Yeah, let us know here.
Yeah.
Okay, so next week we're going to review Hocus Pocus, starring Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Jimmy, and Bette Midler, directed by Kenny Ortega. I am The Wiz.
And I am Kim Shactman.
Talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.